Hey guys, my name is aijalonwallace. Welcome back to my channel. I'm also known as the Nomad Recruiter. I traveled around the world and make placements. I'm a recruiter and a recruitment coach. So if you are looking to start your own recruitment agency, make sure you check out nomadrecruiters.com. I also have a free ebook. If you want to learn more about recruitment and traveling, you can download it on my website at nomadrecruiters.com, or you can also order a physical copy on Amazon. I also have a free training as well that you can check out in the links below. So today we're going to be talking about how to become a recruiter with no experience. I'm going to break it down for you. I'm going to get straight to the point. So get a pen and paper. Let's get started. Let's jump straight into it. So look, if you're trying to get into recruitment and you have no experience, one of the first things you're going to need to do is pick a niche. I cannot stress this enough. I come across so many people who want to get into the industry and they're working on multiple different niches in the recruitment sector. And when you spread yourself through too thin, you usually get a lot of horrible results, or you don't really make anything happen for yourself at the end of the day. If you're struggling to choose that niche, my advice is that you choose something you know. So I guess ideally, if you work in like sales or healthcare or I don't know, IT, I would say choose a niche within that space to help you out, to help guide you while you're getting your agency off the ground. Now, there are a lot of books out here. There's a lot of free content on YouTube that can give you some advice, but the fastest and quickest way to learn how to become a recruiter, my advice would be to buy an online course. It would just speed up the process at the end of the day, or you can spend hundreds of hours on YouTube online to help you with the content as well. You do not need to purchase a course. A lot of this information is online for free, but it's just the hours and the time that you have to put in to get the content at the end of the day. So you want to niche down. You also want to learn how to manage candidates and how to manage clients. You need to be able to define the difference between a red flag client and a red flag candidate as well, because you do not want to waste your time working with bad people or people who may not be willing to pay you as well. Now, there is a standard rule in recruitment that we don't talk about too often. Often when recruiters present a candidate to a company, there's a standard rule that if the candidate has applied to the company within the last 12 months, we cannot represent that candidate. It's pretty standard worldwide. So you always want to make sure when you're talking to a candidate, you always want to make sure you ask, have you applied to this position before at this company? And if they say yes, most likely you cannot submit that candidate or represent that candidate to that client. Also, if you are looking to start your own agency and you are working with a client, most contracts have something called a guarantee period. And a guarantee period is when you offer the client a 30, 60, or 90-day guarantee that the candidate you place into that job will stay in that position for a period of 30, 60, or 90 days. Usually as well, it is standard to get paid 30 days after the candidate starts, or sometimes after the candidate completes their guarantee. It depends on your contract and it depends on your terms at the end of the day. I would strongly urge and encourage you as well, if you're looking to become a recruiter and start your own agency possibly, I will advise you to get a LLC to make sure you're able to write off a lot of things for your business. Now, if you're getting into the recruitment game, you only need a few simple technology things: a cell phone and a laptop. That's all you really need at the end of the day. I would say maybe a good Logitech camera as well, just in case you have to have Zoom interviews in the future or something like that. But for the most part, I would say you definitely need a laptop and you need a cell phone and you need some recruitment software tools. So if I was in your shoes, I probably would check out things like AngelList, Contact Out, or Swordfish. Now, these are applications that give you access to people names and numbers. I've talked about this already on my channel. And then you want to make sure you look up LinkedIn Recruiter, Sales Navigator, and also Indeed. There are a lot of other job platforms out there like ZipRecruiter, Career Builder, and so many more platforms that you can use, but you want to start using these platforms to be able to source candidates within your niche. That's how you're going to go about your strategy when it comes to finding candidates. You're going to have to ask yourself, okay, when I bring on a client, how will I find these candidates? And most recruiters use LinkedIn, and they also use Indeed and other job platforms, but it's important that you do your research on the market. So if I am in your situation or in your shoes and I'm new to recruitment and I'm trying to learn more about my niche, what I'm going to do is try to talk to a lot of people in my niche, and I'm going to ask them questions like, hey, what job platforms do you use to apply to jobs? Your niche may not use Indeed. They may use Monster. They may use ZipRecruiter. It also depends on the country you're in as well. They may use a completely different job platform because recruitment is universal, but you want to understand your market and you want to understand your niche at the end of the day. It is extremely important as well. I cannot stress this enough, but when you're qualifying candidates, you want to make sure you qualify them good enough and ask them a lot of questions that's going to help you save time and money before you present them to your client. One of the questions that I teach my students in my course in Nomad Recruiters Academy, I always make sure my students ask their candidates, hypothetically, if your current job was to make a counter offer, would you accept it? And the reason I always have my students ask this question is because we want to know that the candidates we represent are actually ready to leave and start a new role. You do not want to put a candidate through a 2 to 4 week interview process and then get them to the final round and they not accept your position. It is not their fault. It is your fault because you did not qualify them good enough to make sure that they were really ready to leave their job. So it's really important that you get your list of qualifying questions really down to the T, and you can research that by watching a lot of YouTube videos or doing your research online, but it's extremely important that you do that. Most importantly, getting your contract set up. Now, you can always go get a contract made on Fiverr or Upwork. Most people know this is common sense. So you can go to Fiverr, you go to Upwork, you can have somebody write you up a recruitment contract, and you can get it going from there. Some people ask, well, why should I buy an online course? To be honest, you don't need an online course, but a lot of people buy online courses because they get access to the coaches. You're able, in my program, I talk to my students on a weekly basis. We have a private Facebook community of other recruiters doing the same thing and making deals. And on top of that, you have access to multiple different sales strategies. I think when a lot of people look up, YouTube videos on how to find clients, it's always the same sales pitch, and that's usually automation. But there's so many other ways, so many other strategies to find clients besides just relying on automation. Speaking of automation, you will need to get automation, set up at some point. I would advise that you look into Octopus, Meet Alfred, or potentially another program, maybe Dripify as well. There's so many out there that you can check out, and there's a lot of new ones as well. Test them out, see what works for you. Try out the free trials, see if it's working for you and your business, but test out the automation. And you want to get your automations going. You want to start pitching to these clients. You want to have your pitch that, hey, this is John with ABC Company. Right now we're offering a discount on our first placement with you. Do a pitch and see if it works. Every pitch will not work for you. That's why you have to test it out. Recruitment is all about curiosity at the end of the day. You have to test out what's going to work for you. At the end of the day, it's sales. So everything you pitch won't work. You got to switch it up. Maybe you pitch with a discount. Maybe you pitch with a candidate. Maybe you pitch with a resume, but you have to switch it up most importantly. Now, going back to resumes, it is extremely important. You can watch a lot of YouTube videos on how to, make the perfect resume and stuff like that. But it's extremely important as a new recruiter, if you're out here and trying to bring on your first client, that you send over a blank or blind resume. So a blank or blind resume is a resume that cancels out all of the personal information of your candidate. That way your client will not be able to find out who your candidate is and steal them from right under your nose, especially if your terms are not signed. Never send over a full resume to a client without your terms being signed. No signature, no candidate resume, no money. Okay, do not throw money away, because I see so many people burning themselves and just effing themselves over because they don't follow the right process. It is so many things in recruitment that I cannot stress enough, and I can't even prepare you for, because you're going to go through a lot of different scenarios. You're going to go through a lot of situations, and this is the importance of having a coach at the end of the day, someone to help guide you and strengthen your skills as a recruiter, because it does take a process and it does take time. I know sometimes as recruiters, as YouTubers, YouTube recruitment coaches, we make it sound a little too easy sometimes. And sometimes it is, and sometimes it's not at the end of the day, but it's a learning process. There's going to be ups, there's going to be downs. And in the recruitment industry, you're going to have a lot of stress at the end of the day, but you always have to keep moving forward, when you are a new recruiter. So as a new recruiter as well, it is important that you build your network. One of the fastest and easiest ways that you probably can go out there and make your first deal is by letting a lot of people know that you recently just started your agency. Reaching out to your network, reaching out to your friends, letting them know who you are. Potentially they are a hiring manager and they need some assistance. Listen, I've had a lot of people watch my YouTube videos and make deals from the advice and strategies that I gave them. If I've done that for you, please feel free to comment below. Let me know, reach out. I would love to hear your story as well. But it's so easy sometimes as far as putting yourself out there and creating awareness at the end of the day. You want to be posting content on LinkedIn. You want to be posting on Facebook or TikTok to start building your reach across the board for candidates and potentially clients. Recruitment is advancing in so many ways, so it's important that you stay ahead of the game and you be open-minded at the end of the day. Do you need to be a great salesperson? No. You just have to have hunger and drive and consistency. You don't always have to be the strongest salesperson, but if you have a good strategy and a creative way to bring on clients, and as far as you go, as thinking outside the box, it would help guide you. It would help your agency grow in a lot of different ways. A lot of the students that join Nomad Recruiters Academy, my strategies teach them how to think outside of the box. It doesn't teach them how to rely on my program. It teaches them how to work for themselves and ultimately not need my program anymore, because the strategies teach them how to think like an entrepreneur, especially when you're hungry and you got to make a deal out here. I will also strongly suggest a lot of people, this is not in order, this is just me going off of, because I just have so many years of experience in recruitment. When you come up with your agency name, pick an agency name that is tailored to your niche. I cannot stress this enough. If you can, possibly add recruiting or staffing in your title so people know who you are. You don't want people to mistake you for IT or a consulting company. You want people to mistake you for a recruiting or staffing company. So you want to make sure you have something like ABC Recruiters or Tech Recruiters or We Recruit For You, or something that stands outside of the box, but also that lets people know who you are. And most importantly, brand. Credibility and brand presence is so important. You can easily go on Wix and make a website, or you can hire someone on Fiverr to make you a simple website. It does not need to be perfect, but you want to have a simple website. You definitely want to have a LinkedIn profile and LinkedIn company page. And you want to make sure you're posting content when you're posting articles, you're engaging and you're building up your presence in the industry as a recruiter. I cannot stress this enough, but immerse yourself in the recruitment industry. Go to recruiter meetups, watch YouTube channels, look at online programs and online courses as well that are going to be able to benefit you and guide you at the end of the day. I believe there's a lot of recruitment coaches out there. There's maybe 5 or 6 good ones on YouTube that make YouTube content. Always do your research on, if you are thinking about joining a recruitment program, I just always say do your research on the coaches, look them up, Google them, look up their students, look up their testimonials, if it's consistent, look up to see if it's real names, if it's real people, and then make the best decision that's going to work for you if you do decide to go the route of getting a recruitment coach. Listen, if you like this video, I need you to hit that like button. I need you to subscribe to the channel, comment below. Let me know if you got any more questions as far as, becoming a recruiter with no experience. And I'm wishing you the best luck for 2023. Let's get it started.